I found that there was a lot of information out on the market. There's just so many people talking about property when I started, and that was quite confusing. And I really got confused and scared. Scared to start, scared to put all that money into something that's so valuable and big demand. Yeah. What I found refreshing when I first think about it was that it wasn't about here's something for you to buy. It was actually about you need to learn about why we do these things. Why do we invest and how we choose our property and our investment. So that was something very different that I didn't see before. Custodian means that I have a system. I have a method of investing that replicates and that works. I'm now on my way to financial security. I have a pathway. Here I am, a number of years down, and I have done it. And I've also shown some of our closest relatives, and they've also started a journey. And so I would say that you need to look carefully at it, and it can be done. When you do look around and you look at where to invest for the future, you talk to friends, family, colleagues, naturally, and most people would find reasons to be careful, to not do something. And what that does for me initially was that I was afraid. So you don't start. And one sure way of not getting the result is don't do anything. Right? So I would say that you do need to look what makes sense. Because if it makes sense to you, then and surround yourself with people who think of that way. It's definitely the motivating factor for me. So I got my first property in 2002. My son was only 2 or 3 years old then, so we started a new family, and we really got thinking about how do we set ourselves up for the future, and then that's what triggered what I was looking for investment. So fast forward now, 2015, I have 13, just bought 2 more in Melbourne. And we are well on our way to securing our financial future. After we had our first child in 1999, we thought we really need to look at our future, how we can have a secure financial future. So back in 2000, now I'm thinking back, that was my first time that I attended a custodian event. And then I was very nervous about making that big leap into investing. But so it took me almost 2 years in terms of doing additional research, reading about custodian, reading about the 7 steps to get me really comfortable. So I joined the program at 2002 when I first bought our first property in Queensland. If you fast forward now, to 2015, we've got several properties, and that allows us to continue to replicate, which we're well on our way to secure a financial future. When you attend one of the custodian event, one thing refreshing was that the organizer didn't try to say, look, sell you this, buy these apartments, do this. They were actually trying to explain to you why you want to do why you want to do what you want to do, and learn about the process, learn about how to invest, why you would select a property, land value rather than rental income only. So that was a refreshing because it really explained why you want to do it rather than just invest in and buy an apartment. So it's been 13 years since I started the program, and we have used all the advantages that's available in the tax system to help us pay off our mortgage earlier, and use the equity built up in our own home to purchase investment properties and to replicate. So that's been a very eye opener for me. Reading the 7 steps, I've found it to be very concise and in a very simple language that allows us to really understand the system and why we do it. Our parents said, look, if you own land, that's how you get wealthy, right? People owning land get wealthy. You do know that, but it wasn't until I attended the 7 steps and read it and attended that really came back to me. They said, look, really, I already knew some of these concepts. It's now how to apply in the modern world. No, I'll definitely continue. I've been with the program for 13 years now, and I will want to continue to build my wealth. It's never too late. Even when I started 13 years ago, I would think I already started a family. Have I missed the boat? But no, you never do. I think through Custodian, we do have access to a lot of people with great knowledge about investing in property, especially John, and to also have access to like-minded people. Because the most important is you need to talk to people who also have that passion to invest. I live a very busy professional life, both family and personal. I can't see myself putting the time and energy needed to actually do everything that's needed to be done. The research is actually quite extensive. What I've done is leverage the research that was already done and validate it. I'll go on site, I'll go around the town, have a look at it. I've done that with a number of purchases before I made them, and that saves a lot of time. I guess part of the background and research, I learned that John, over the 20 years, his history has been a trusted name, and what he has done has been remarkable to help so many Australians to be like where I am now. Yeah, we also had an initial perception that investing in property to get wealth is only for the wealthy or the rich people. But is that a perception, or is that really the fact? So what we did was we really looked into it and did the numbers, did the maths, work out, actually, we can afford that if we knew all the information about how to best utilize what's available to us. I mean, the tax system, also the way to budget as well, and leverage your existing house. Now, even more so than 13 years ago, there is even more information that's available with the internet. And there's so much information that we actually get into a stage of paralysis, that we're so worried that we haven't read or understand everything yet that we don't do anything. I would say to that, one sure way of not achieving any result is to don't do anything. What I would say is that you need to find someone that you trust that distills most of the information for you. So it does do a lot of hard work. Definitely, I've read the 7 steps about 3 times now, including once using the audio book. So that was another way of trying to keep that information get it to stay in your head. What I found was that a lot of it made sense after you hear it from John, only because look, you would think that you go and buy an investment property, it needs to be something really special. But then you think about it, if you want to buy a house, one of the first things you want to do is make sure it's in a good area that you can get access to schools. That's what you would do personally. So why not go the same way when you look for investment property? A custodian gave me the security and the confidence that I'm dealing with people that I can trust and that I can rely on to help me start this journey. I've never looked back since. Looking back, it's been 13 years since we purchased our first property. We have paid off our mortgage for our own property, and now have invested in several investment property, and that is so secure and assuring that we'll be able to pass that on to our children. It's important to get started, and what I found was I was reluctant at first, but it was at our local RSL, and then I decided, why don't I just spend one night and listen to what people have to say, what custodian have to say. And from that point on, I did more research, and then I never looked back.